Hey everybody, welcome back to Shop Talkin'. I'm Gretchen.
I'm Camille.
And we're pissed.
I am really pissed. Oh!
You know what? So last week we talked about Matt Lauer. And not just Matt Lauer himself and what's going on, but again, the continuation, that stupid hair, continuation of this movement.
Yeah. Well, and you watch, look, the news every day. I watch the news every day, and it is a reality show in Congress lately. I'm repulsed at all the BS and all the drama and all the lies. These are the leaders that we elected to represent us. It's embarrassing, y'all. And then the whole thing I read about Matt Lauer.
Oh, yeah. Matt Lauer wants a buyout to finish out his contract.
His attorney's negotiating the $30 million left on his contract.
Because you know what? Somehow he's the victim now because he's not going to get his contracted money fulfilled. Matt Lauer, to you.
Right.
Are you kidding me? Look at, Kirstie Alley comes forward in a tweet and she says, what kind of country, I'm paraphrasing, what kind of country do we live in where people are losing their jobs over accusations? Even though she'll go back and say, I didn't say Matt Lauer, I didn't say Charlie Rose, I didn't say those names. I'm just saying in general, there are people that are losing their jobs because there has not been a trial to say that they're guilty or not.
Look, I agree. I like that there is due process. I want a due process system as well. We live in a country where we are innocent.
I understand that.
We're presumed innocent until we are proven guilty. However, when you've got, and when we first heard Matt Lauer, I was kind of like, what? I mean, clean cut looking. I don't know him personally. 20 years on the job. Looks good. Sounds good. We don't know the ins and outs of what's going on. But when I hear he's got a button on his desk, he can lock the door. That floored me.
And the thing is, there wasn't one person that came forward saying that. There were multiple.
Same with Charlie Rose. And when you've got a multitude of women, and this is where it gets egregious. One person, two people, you're right, we probably need some due process. And there still needs to be due process as far as I'm concerned. Bill Cosby, okay? There was due process there. I don't know the answer to this, but I'm getting pissed that Me Too movement continues, but when people say, I'm sorry, okay, now what?
Did Matt Lauer even say sorry? No, he says,
no.
He's treating this all like a job. Seriously, what part of him goes, you know what?
He's embarrassed.
I have made victims miserable for years.
Yeah.
I was just reading this article about narcissism and characteristics of a narcissistic person, and I was like, I can put that definition to people I know, and I can put that definition to the actions of people I don't know.
Yeah.
And the actions of Matt Lauer are, you know what, not once, and I get you've got the attorney teams shushing him.
Probably,
right?
no, sure.
But here's the deal. If you're going to go forward to, say, HR, because that's what it's for.
Yeah.
All right. It's for the protection.
That's their internal, policing right there. The HR department is that, right? Yeah.
That's I'm not saying this happened with Matt. I'm saying in general, because there's been many times you and I both have talked about this in different jobs. We didn't go to HR. Why? Because we were afraid nothing was going to get done and we were going to be blackballed in our job or even lose our job, or it was going to be a situation where we were going to have to pay for it.
Correct.
So HR, one of the reasons why they're set up is to protect from situations like that.
That's right.
So if NBC comes forward and says, sorry, Matt Lauer, you're done. Get your stuff, get out of the office, here's security, get out right now. They have the ability to do that.
That's right. That's their job.
Kirstie Alley, they have the ability to do that.
That's right.
They have the ability to say, you are fired, and we don't have to have a trial.
Well, and by the way, there's an internal investigation going on. I don't think that these are highly credible people. They are not stupid. They have a whole legal department that's managing this. They're not just going to say, oh, some sort of whiff is some sort of inappropriate. They're going to fire someone. No, they've done a full-blown investigation. They've got video investigations. They've got testimony. They've got evidence that's proven that these people are guilty. That's why they fired them, because they can't afford any more harmful acts. They have to get rid of them.
Well, and the case is with NBC. NBC's not sending him to jail.
No.
They're not a judge that's sending him to jail. He got fired.
But they're stopping that bad behavior at the job, and that's their job there, is to protect the environment at work.
Okay, and with that thought, the audacity of Lauer coming forward and going, pay me the rest of my contract.
Oh, I know, right?
F you. Are you kidding me? Pay you for what?
Yeah.
Pay you for what? Pay you for your narcissistic criminal activities
Yep.
that, by the way, because of the courage of women,
Yeah.
that, I don't think we're done with this.
No.
When you have someone that's been in that business, and it's the same with Weinstein, right? You have somebody
Yeah.
that's been in that business for so long, they're coming forward. Jane Seymour just had an article. I just listened to her talk about, what, she turned down roles because her agent sent her to someone's house to do a casting.
Right. Yeah.
And when the door was locked and she was asked to perform on a couch, she said, "Call me a cab." And
I
he
love you,
said-
Jane. I
he
love your
said,
integrity, girl.
"I will call you a cab, but just so you know, I'm the most," she didn't say who it was because he's already passed on and she wanted to be respectful of
Thank
the
you,
family.
thank
But
you.
she said, he said to her, "You will never, ever work. I am the most powerful man in this industry and you will never work." And she went back home and she said, "I was a wife and a mom and I let it go." And then she got back into the business, and she said she went to an event where this particular man was, and all night long he kept saying, "Do I know you?
Oh,
Do I know you?"
I didn't even remember.
He couldn't even remember her.
He literally robs us of what we could have viewed and witnessed and been blessed with her talent, and he can't even remember he did that.
He doesn't remember,
What
which
an
says to me, you know
idiot.
what? If you don't remember it with her, and this was before she was a huge name, but she's an individual and she's a person. So if you don't remember doing things like that with her, chances are you've done it to a lot.
Yeah.
A lot. I was in LA not too long ago, and I flew in, met the producer. We were going to be filming, ironically, a docuseries called Christ Revealed, right? And so we were going to be filming the next day. Flew in that night, met the director, met the producer, and he said, "Hey, let's go have dinner." I said, "Great." Now, he happens to be about this tall, and I'm very, very tall. I had a dress on, and I had heels. We go into this restaurant. It's on a Sunday night.
Yeah.
And I walk by, and this lady says, "Oh, only in LA."
Are you kidding me?
So she insinuated that I was some call girl
Oh my
going
God,
to
honey.
have dinner with him. He paid me
Oh my
to
God, I'm so
be
sorry.
his escort, And I didn't know this happened until actually we had been away from the situation. I would have gone to her and said, "I have 5 kids at home that I take care of.
Jeez.
I have integrity, and I am a woman.
Yeah.
And don't you ever put a label on me just because I'm tall and a little more glamorous than what you're used to seeing."
And attractive and sexy, naturally. Yeah. You
I'm
are.
not tooting my horn. I'm just saying you just put a label on me
Wow.
for going to dinner. There wasn't one thing that was inappropriate about that whole evening.
Wow.
Not one thing.
I'm so sorry, honey.
Right?
That is so off.
So guess what? She, in my opinion, just committed sexual abuse.
That's
Sexual
harassment.
harassment
I agree.
is what I'm saying.
So-
She did,
The
right?
line, yeah.
And to me, I read these articles and I hear the excuses more so from men that will say, "Well, look how she was dressed."
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I don't
she's
care
asking
if-
for it. She must be asking
She
for
must
it.
be asking for it.
Yeah.
And men are visual.
Right. And
So
you
we
can't stop them.
We can't help ourselves.
They get started and they can't stop. I was trained by that. I was told that as a young girl.
Really?
I'm totally disgusted to tell you that, but that's true. In my youth, I was trained. Men can't stop. So you get them going. You get them going. And they
It's
can't
your
stop.
fault.
Yep.
Really?
Yeah. I'm not kidding. I look back at that and I think, oh my gosh. I mean, just that it's all on me. That they have no control, and it's the whole, it's like Adam ate the apple, and Eve gave it to him. It's our fault. I was trained that way in that respect.
get me
Now
started.
I've changed my mind on that. It's not my fault, but I really think that I kind of grew up thinking that, and that's why I've had a pass in a lot of ways for lecherous, piggy men,
Yeah.
and that's why I didn't even cross my mind to call authorities or report things to HR or whatever. I just kind of giggle, move on.
You know what? And
So silly.
I wonder about, when people talk, well, that's just locker room talk. So that gives men the pass to go ahead and say whatever they want to say
Yeah.
about a woman to their guy friends.
Yeah.
Because that's okay.
Yeah.
So for years, you know, we've tolerated that. We've tolerated the catcalling as you're walking down the road.
Yeah.
And somehow that's supposed to be a compliment.
Right.
No. You know, you think back and you think of how many girls in high school were given a bad reputation because of non-truths of things that guys said
Right.
in locker room talk.
Yep.
I just read this post this morning from a girl I went to high school with, and I clearly remember her, beautiful lady, and she said, it was under the Me Too, right? And she said, when I was in high school, there were two guys. One was a prominent football player, well liked, right? And the other one was a student body officer, both very popular boys.
High school royalty. Yeah.
They pulled her in a room at school, sandwiched her, meaning one was on top and one was on the bottom. One put his hand down her pants, and the other, she said, was squeezing my breast so hard it hurt.
Oh, wow.
They left. She quit school,
Oh, my gosh.
was robbed of all of her high school experiences, never graduated, and she said, the reputation I had was I was a dropout. She said, I didn't drop out. I couldn't go back.
It robbed
And
her
all
her
of these
dignity.
years later, she's like, you know what? I missed out.
Yeah.
I missed out. So, you know, in one of the comments I was reading in the post, there was one girl that said, you know, I want you to call their wives
Yeah.
and let them know,
Yep.
you know, did they bother to find this particular lady and say, I'm so sorry? Or did they just go about life like maybe like the guy on the couch, they didn't remember, do I know you? Right?
Right. You look so familiar. What,
Do I know
do we
you?
date? Yeah.
You must know me.
Yeah. 'Cause I'm
Right?
somebody. I was high
You
school
must
royalty.
know that I catch all those footballs. You must know that I have every right to do what I want to do to you because look who I am.
I'm so sorry that that happened to her. And you know, in my practice, I hear this weekly. I you know, something happened, and you know, the younger the girl, and this happens to boys too. You know, I don't want to leave that men and boys out.
absolutely.
It's more prevalent with women, or we hear about it more often with women. But you know, the younger the girl, the more damage this does. And I'll tell you the damage it does. And it just incenses me, and I get so emotional about it. Because I deal with kids that were trafficked, that were sold, and they are nothing but an object. And they've had to have their bodies reconstructed because they've been damaged so badly. And what it just blows my mind that you're you're basically just an object for someone's gratification. And in that incident right there with that girl in high school, she's nothing but an object. She must be attractive. She must have been desirable. And so they're like, oh, let's go do this. This will be fun. Okay. They're not thinking about how that's going to leave her. And obviously it damaged her to a point.
yeah.
She's shamed. She's the one shamed. She didn't do anything. She's just being herself and being attractive, being normal. And hopefully she's, you know, going to have some, you know, a healthy life after this because she can tell the truth about it. But she's the one carrying that shame, not these guys. And this is what bothers me is the women that get abused, children that get abused, they're the ones that carry the shame. They're the ones that blame themselves. When I was kidnapped and I was abused, I felt the shame. I felt like I was something, I must have been doing something wrong to deserve that. I was the one in the wrong place at the wrong time. So I'm feeling like I'm the bad one. And that's what all these people that have gone through this that I've talked to and helped them get over it felt like they were the ones in the wrong place at the wrong time. They did something wrong to deserve it. Must be something wrong with them. It's not your fault. It's not your fault.
I remember, like I said, we've talked earlier that I started in the modeling industry when I was quite young. And, you know, that is a field where the younger you are, the longer your career will be because, you know, they take them young and they make them look older. It's just a weird way they do things, right? So anyway, I remember this photographer in Dallas said, hey, I want to do some kind of abstract type art photography things. Would you be willing to do that? I'm like, yeah, sure, okay, fine. So I go in and he showed me this series that he had been doing of nudes, but they were in a silhouette, so it was blacked. But here's the thing. You talk about women being shamed.
Yeah.
you're shamed because you know that's not right.
Yep.
That's the first feeling you have, is you know that is not right.
Yeah.
And the shame that happens is that I felt, I'm going to speak for just Gretchen. I let that happen when my gut said, this isn't right, right? So then afterwards, you know, even if everybody in the public sees only a silhouette.
Yeah. Just the shadow.
I
Yeah.
still walked in front of that photographer. I still got up in front. You know what I'm saying? There was a stranger that
Yeah.
I now became an object for.
Yep. And that's the word? It is becoming not human. You become an object. And this is what I believe narcissism is. Okay, this is what people do. They turn you into a thing, an object, and it voids your soul. It voids your humanity. It voids you as a person. And why I'm so pissed today after watching the news and after hearing, you know, the Me Too movement, it takes courage. It takes risk that people raise their hand and say, this happened to me too. You know, there's a story behind everyone raising their hand. That's a story for you. That's your Me Too movement, that you're saying, this happened to me. There's emotion behind it. There's pain behind it. There's embarrassment. There's all these things going on behind it, you know. And the people that objectified that other human, the other person, I don't want to just hear, sorry, you know. I want something more than that. You know, when Congress, okay, and I'm really on it with Congress, okay, they got 30-day pass, okay, the laws don't apply to them. They have this whole, they built the wall, they built the mortar, the brick and mortar, they've got their whole system, and they've got a budget that they pay sexual harassment claims. These men that we put in power, that we rise up and we say, okay, lead us. You know, these are our leaders, and these people, they know they're going to commit crimes, and they have a budget to pay it out. This makes me sick, okay?
Let's not just say, like, we know y'all don't have any control.
No integrity. There's no effing integrity there. I'm so livid with that. I really would, I'm so pissed. I really am. So, you know, so they want to change something. Start with themselves. Self-govern, self-lead. Do something that says, I'm changing myself. You know, here's the real sad true thing. It is not going to hit them. It's not going to impact them until it happens to their daughter or their wife or their sister or maybe themselves. I don't know. But it's going to have to hit close to home, because they're going to have to be physically impacted or emotionally impacted. They want to have something stretched where it pains them. They may get a bamboo shoot up their fingernail. I don't know. Something that they actually have a physical contact with. Owie, that doesn't work for me. That doesn't feel good. How are they going to be humiliated and shamed themselves? Or do they feel shame? I don't know. But I am so disgusted with the leaders of our country. I could puke. I'm so mad right now. I'm sorry. But I am pissed.
Well, you know, and you think about, I think about the wives, right?
Yeah.
So you politicians you have to, you know, you can't run for office unless you have
support system.
Somebody, you know, oh,
having your
my
back.
husband, right?
Well, even Matt
But
Lauer's wife.
You cheat on him. Why?
Yeah.
Why? Because you can't help yourself. Why? Because you're visual, you know, and Monica Lewinsky, you know, it was her fault. You know, the funny thing is that I was just in that Oval Office when President Bush was in. It was one of my things that I got to do as Miss USA. And I thought to myself, you know what, President Clinton, I know that office. I know where that closet is. You, in your mind, went so far to go, this is a young girl, so I'm going to use my power as President of the United States, and she's not going to turn me down.
She didn't.
And
Poor
what did
thing.
she
I feel
do? She
bad
fell
for
in
her.
love with him.
Yeah, she
and
did.
then I'm going to forget that I'm married and that I have a daughter
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
You know, men in power, okay, and,
Yep.
and I don't
Yep.
I don't need to know that they are in a situation where lots and lots of people know who they are. This happens every day.
Yeah, not
This
not in the
happens
Oval Office.
every single
It
day.
does. It
this
happens.
for fathers that are abusing their daughters.
Yep.
Why? Because there's power.
That's right.
Right?
That's right. Because they can. Because they treat them like objects. That's right. That's right.
And you know, I think about whether women come forward or men too, right, that have had this abuse. But I think about when Kirstie Alley and when other people say, why is it taking you so long to come forward? I want you to stop and think about something. How many years have they been dealing with this internally?
Yeah.
And never, ever either A, felt like anybody would care to listen to them, or B, what's going to happen if I say something? what's going to happen when maybe their perpetrator goes, you know what? You say something and I'm coming after you.
That's right.
I will make sure, Jane Seymour, you never work in this town again. Thank goodness.
Yeah.
Thank goodness. She said, you know what? I'm going to put more value in my talents
Yeah.
and my passions and my desire. I'm not going to be afraid of your stupid ass threats.
Yeah.
And for all of these young women that come forward and say, the guy in school just did this to me, I applaud you. We
too.
applaud you. You know what? Don't let this, like Camille always says, get the truth out faster. Don't let this foster and hinder your life.
Yeah. Don't let anybody dominate you. Don't let anybody act like they're going to control you or dominate you, because they really can't. All they have over you is fear. And here's the truth about that. It doesn't exist. No one is bigger or badder or more powerful than you, truthfully. It's all an illusion. And we are in a fight for power on this planet. That's all this is some sort of illusion. It's not even real, okay? But don't let anybody dominate you ever. So figure it out. Figure out how to avoid being controlled and dominated always. Do not ever let yourself get suppressed and controlled. There's always a path away from that.
I know you've been in this, and you walked away from this.
I walked away from a lot.
When you've had someone say, if you don't, so there's a consequence, right?
Oh, yeah.
If you don't, then this will happen.
Yep.
So, you know, you walked away from a government job
I did.
in your 20s.
I did.
Yeah.
And I actually, I ratted out. I told the truth. And I had huge consequences. I was terrified.
Right.
I was absolutely
But my
terrified.
point is, what's the worst that's going to happen? So you lose a job.
Yeah.
Go get a job.
Tell the truth.
You may not be doing exactly what you want to do, but man, is it worth it? Is it
You're
worth
not selling
to
your
stay?
soul. You're not selling out.
I mean, how many years ago I quit a job and I said to Camille, I don't have a backup.
Yeah.
But my gut and my heart said, every day you go to work, you are facing people and situations that are against your character.
Well, and if you don't, I mean, and if you don't do this, I mean, this is, people say, well, I needed the money and I needed to survive. I get it. Look, I've been a single mom most of my adult life. You've been a single mom most of your adult life, okay? There is survival issues, and sometimes we suck it up and take shit for our kids. And I know I'm preaching to the choir out there. But you know what you lose if you sell out and you do things like a slave, okay? If you become a slave to somebody because you let them suppress and dominate you, you lose and you become void of your own soul. You let yourself become an object. And that is when you lose your self-respect. That is when you don't have honor for you anymore. Your integrity's gone. And I don't know life worth living at that point. I'm going to say that. Like there's something, life does not work after that.
You know, you talk this way, and I think about, please know, we're not only talking about a job. Maybe you're in a relationship.
Marriage.
Maybe you're in just a relationship. Maybe you're in a situation where you feel you're not respected. You don't matter. You would not have the same loyalty treated to you that you would give to them. Yeah. You know, as a therapist coming out, I mean, let's talk about the ramifications of what porn does to the woman, which I consider the victim.
Yeah.
Not the women in the porn that are actually, you know,
Performing.
but what that does as far as scarring the relationship.
Well, there's always this competition. You know, I know it's just it's some sort of flick, it's some sort of video, but the woman that's knows that her man is looking at the porn is comparing herself to the porn. You know, when you're looking at that, you're getting off on that. That turns you on. That arouses you. I got to look like that. I got to be like that. I got to act like that. Well, first of all, they're acting. Okay, they're getting paid to do this. I'm not sure if it's real, if they're really passionately engaged in that. I'm not sure that it's authentic. But there is this, it sets it up for competition. And people that look at porn on a routine basis and they think that that's real and that's what gets them off, the problem with that is it's not genuine, it's not authentic. So that now you're objectifying your woman. You want her to look or act or smell or feel like that. Okay, that's not reality. So she's not perfect bodied or perfect hair or her lipstick or her makeup doesn't look like that or she's not really into it or acting like that or able to, you know, handle the positions that the porn star can. You know, that's not reality. You're objectifying her body. Instead of making love to your wife, you're trying to just have sex with her. And it's...
And again,
it's not
what's
real.
your motive? Your motive
Right.
is for that person's self-gratification. It has nothing to do with what the institution is supposed to be about as far as two people loving, making
Pleasing
love.
each
What is
other.
it, what does it become then, right?
Well, it's objectification. It turns that person into a object again. Which again, and so now she's really going to want that. Yeah, I want to be your doll. You know, I want to just be some object for you to just get off on. That's not loving. That's not pleasurable for her. Just so you know.
Right. And what about people that are in a relationship that basically it's used as a sabotage?
Right.
If you don't, I'll make your life hell. I'll be mean to you. I'll withhold things from you.
Sex is a weapon.
I will do that. And yet, on the other hand, I think women tend
pull back.
to pull back and go, "Oh, I'm going to use this against you too."
Well,
so
they don't
now
put
you
out.
have this huge, terrible cycle.
It's the war zone. Sex in the bedroom become the war zone. Yeah, because they feel rejected. And you know, I think that women, if they don't feel sexy or attractive or desirable, they're not going to be as amorous or available to you sexually. And if you're looking at porn, jerking off to porn, you're not going to look at your woman that way. No. So if she's not going to feel desirable like that, your sex life's going to go in the toilet. Just saying.
And you know,
it is a betrayal, by the way. It is a betrayal. Yeah.
It is what it is, right?
Yeah.
Would you do that in front of your wife? Would you be like, "Hey, you know what? I'm actually going to fantasize and jack off to that woman and not you."
Yeah.
But I'm okay with that. Are you okay with it? No. No, she's not
Probably
ever going to
not.
be okay. And I can't even begin to imagine the emotional scars that are happening and the wall that is building. But you know, I think people that do that, they don't care.
Well, there's something going on. To me, it's self-medication. And the men I talk to that do this, okay, and most
And we're
women,
not talking like every now and then. We're talking ones that it's
habitual, okay,
yeah.
and the clients that are struggling with it, okay, and some wives, I will say this, I've got some wives that are into it with them, but it's a joint effort. They both like it. Those couples, I don't see them in session, okay. The couples that are having problem with pornography, I see them in session, and she doesn't like it, and he's doing it, and he likes it. Here's why. It's instant gratification. It's like having a drink of whiskey. It cures the anxiety immediately. It's routine. They know exactly what they're going to get out of it, and it works. You know, there's no fight. He doesn't have to make her happy.
She doesn't even have to know, right?
She doesn't know, and he gets what he wants, immediate gratification. He's not having to work for it. Lazy. That's lazy to me, and I tell him he's a lazy butt because he's just going to get off and not have to worry about pleasing her to make sure he gets off, you know? It's lazy to me. But if there's problems in the bedroom, a lot of guys do that. I would rather them jerk off to porn than have an affair. I really would, right. Because then we don't have a third-party issue, but we still have a laziness issue, really.
What does porn do to the reality of what sex really is?
Well, it puts it in some sort of microwave instant gratification kind of thing, and it does objectify a person, which is exactly the problem we have in this whole abuse of power thing going on in the world right now. Okay, it objectifies sex, and I really wonder if you look at the whole internet, fad and craze. Guess what made the internet so popular? Guess what really was the first thing that got going on the internet?
Porn.
Mm-hmm. And guess who is masterful at learning how to put pictures and fast pace whatever on the internet? Porn. So this industry has led the internet craze. So they know what they're doing. Okay, but and porn has been so pervasive, and the first place kids see porn is on their phone nowadays. The porn didn't exist when we were growing up, right? So
well, I mean, it did, but you had to go buy a magazine,
right.
And that
well,
kind
yeah,
of
we
stuff.
didn't have the internet, we didn't have phones. I mean, yeah. So this is so prevalent right now, and there's no taboo anymore. I mean, you can hit one word Google, you can see anything, watch anything. I mean, any type of video, any type of sex, anything is available at a fingertip, at a click. You can click and see anything. This, to me, and you look at the institution of marriage, hasn't that declined over time? I mean, it's not all by accident. It's not all by chance. Men don't have to please women to get sex anymore. Now, not that that is right, men. I'm not saying that you should be pleasing your women to get sex, but don't we need to honor a relationship? And men are visual. Men like to see things. They can see anything they want nowadays. And so all that objectification, easy sex, quick sex, immediate gratification, I do think it's taking a toll on all our relationships. And you look at the abuse of power happening and what we're going through right now, and I think it's going to continue. We've just hit the tip of the iceberg. This year, it's about sexual healing. This is all coming out for people to stop objectifying each other and to start, being real with each other. I think, values, like relationship values have got to come back in style. I don't know where the heck we're headed, but we don't even communicate. We text each other, We need to have real face conversations. Intimacy begins with the eyes, looking at each other and communicating, not gadget to gadget,
Hopefully, and we've labeled this the Matt Lauer movement, but we know it's not just Matt, it's been happening. But hopefully, for so many years, women have been asking for equality, especially in the workforce and payment.
Yeah.
Hopefully that this movement now is going to have a strong enough voice that when men think that they can abuse that power by saying, you won't advance unless, or hey, I can help you if you, so there's a bartering going on. Hopefully women will go like, hang on a second. By the way, do you remember what happened to those other men? That can happen to you too.
Right. Well, and when women have the same kind of money, when women have the equal pay, they don't need to please you.
We don't have to, no.
Right.
None of that.
Which is part of the decline of marriage as well. So we'll
tackle that one the next time. You know what? Thank you guys for letting us kind of rant. I know that there are numbers of women that feel the same way because this isn't something that's brand new.
Not just in Hollywood or Congress.
No, this has been going on
everywhere.
for years. And probably you guys,
In
just
your
like
life.
Camille and I, throughout our career, throughout just being an adult and also growing up as a teenager, we've all experienced it.
Yeah. Thanks for letting me rant. Thanks for letting me vent. I feel better. Thanks for the therapy.
Thanks for therapy. Hey, make sure that you guys subscribe, like, share, all of that stuff. We really, really appreciate it. And we like sharing with you, and we want you to share back with us. So we'll see you next time.
Bye, friend.